Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to go to the North Atlantic, hop on board the Cunard liner Berengaria and steam across the ocean on a special voyage during October 1929. This will be all done through this book, The Berengaria Exchange, written by Paul Knapp. This is the type of book that's very rare because it is very difficult to write. It is essentially a reconstruction of a very specific voyage, and it is done through a combination of correspondence, letters, even interviews. And what we get through this book is the fears, the hopes, the joys, the despair of a handful of passengers as they transit the North Atlantic during what would become the titular event that would launch the Great Depression, the stock market crash of October 1929. This book makes fascinating reading. You are transported on the decks of the Berengaria and you follow a handful of passengers and even some crew, so that not only do you get a sense of what's going on, there are some people who are about to lose their entire life savings. They board the UK as millionaires and they will reach New York as paupers. And in amongst all this, you then get an insight into what it was like to be on board the Berengaria during this time. You get a whiff of what liner travel was in 1929. There are two small photographic inserts. You can see a few of them up here that are composed of mainly publicity images of, say, the Berengaria, most of which you've seen before, as well as more candid shots of some of the main people involved and some of the crew as well. If you want to understand what life was like during 1929, particularly during that pivotal week when so many people lost their fortunes, and you want to understand the trauma, the collective trauma of what the stock market crash would do to people and why the Great Depression is seared so deeply into the collective memory of generations of people, then this is a great place to look at it because it condenses all those hopes and fears and tensions into one ship and one specific voyage. It is brilliantly written, it is evocative, it's insightful, and you get an appreciation of all of these people. It's all too human to want to protect what you've earned and worked for all your life. And when we think about it, essentially the Great Depression would ultimately signify many changes, many hardship, and for the North Atlantic run would be the end of many liners, including the Berengaria. So with all that in mind, jump into this book. It's like you're in a time capsule appreciating what it was like to be on board this ship during 1929 as the Great Depression was about to strike. If you love reading about the North Atlantic, and if you're particularly interested in the lives of passengers and crew, and even if you're just interested in understanding how the stock market affects real people, then this book is for you. It's everything. It's a social history, it's a maritime history, it's even a smidgen of economic history. But it's very personal, and sometimes that's something that tends to be forgotten when we look at history overall, or we look at history of machines or events or themes. This is very personal, and for that, and for the amount of research that has gone into this book, it is a 5 out of 5 captain's hats. If you enjoy this type of literature, hunt it down, add it to your ocean liner library. It is The Berengaria Exchange by Paul Knapp.